The air grew colder in Havenwood as October deepened. The scent of pumpkin spice and wood smoke, once comforting, now carried a metallic tang of fear. A strange stillness settled over the town square, the laughter of children replaced by hushed whispers. For the residents of Havenwood, the line between Halloween fun and genuine terror had blurred, then vanished altogether. The killer clowns had arrived. It began with sightings, fleeting glimpses of painted faces peering from the woods bordering the town. Then came the pranks, malicious, terrifying pranks, a trail of bloody footprints leading to a crib, a car, windows soaked with threats left in someone's driveway. The townsfolk, initially amused, now felt the prickle of genuine fear. Something wicked had come to their little corner of the world, hidden behind painted smiles and grotesque parodies of joy. The air itself seemed to crackle with a strange energy, a malevolence that sent chills down the bravest souls. The very shadows seemed to twist and contort, taking on the shape of menacing grins and vacant eyes. The once bright colors of autumn leaves now appeared garish, almost obscene against the backdrop of escalating fear. Havenwood, once a picture of idyllic small-town life, was trapped in a nightmare, its streets transformed into a macabre circus of dread. The fear was insidious, seeping into every crack and crevice of their lives. It lived in the nervous glances exchanged between neighbors, in the hurried footsteps echoing on deserted sidewalks. It poisoned the joy of simple pleasures, replacing laughter with suspicion and warmth with gnawing unease. Havenwood, once a sanctuary, was now a stage, set for a terrifying performance with no audience but the terrified townsfolk themselves. Sheriff Brody, a man hardened by years of dealing with small-town crime, felt a shiver crawl down his spine as he surveyed the scene. The Havenwood Mall, usually bustling with shoppers, stood eerily silent, its vast glass-fronted stores gazing out like vacant eyes. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the squeak of his own shoes on the polished floor. The victim lay sprawled amidst a display of mannequins posed in eternal plastic smiles. A young woman, her face contorted in a silent scream, her eyes wide with a terror that death couldn't erase. Clutched in her hand, a single crimson balloon bobbed gently, a grotesque mockery of childhood innocence. It was a calling card, he realized, a chilling signature that spoke volumes without uttering a single word. Brody had seen his share of death, but there was something about this murder that chilled him to his core. The utter silence of the mall, the almost theatrical staging of the body, the mocking touch of the red balloon, it all whispered of a calculated cruelty, a perverse sense of humor that spoke of something deeply, unsettlingly wrong. This was no ordinary killer, no crime of passion or greed. This was something else entirely, something evil. A cold realization settled in his gut. This was just the beginning. The killer, or killers, were sending a message loud and clear in its silence, its theatricality, its sheer, unadulterated malice. Havenwood was no longer dealing with a prankster, or even a simple murderer. They were facing something far more sinister, something that reveled in fear, something that fed on the terror it instilled. And he, Sheriff Brody, was the only thing standing between his town and the abyss. His gaze swept the deserted mall, taking in the eerie stillness, the unsettling juxtaposition of everyday life, and the macabre spectacle before him. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that the silence was deceptive. The killer or killers were still out there, watching, waiting, their laughter echoing in the silence, their painted smiles promising further horrors to come. And Havenwood, trapped in their twisted game, could do nothing but wait for the next act to begin.